Yeah, sometimes it's hard to turn off, like, editing brain, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's like, do I dare say this? I could ruin Tangled for literally everyone.
Just do it.
Rapunzel's hair is different in every single scene. Done. The hair length is never
But
consistent.
it's magic hair.
Nope. It's never consistent. One time it's long enough for a towel, one time it's long enough to reach her feet. It does not work. I've ruined that movie for you. You will not unsee it. It is infuriating. I know Morgan wasn't happy when I pointed that out. I watched it with her years ago. She used to cosplay as Rapunzel, and just she was just like, "What have you done?" So I'm
Now
sorry.
I'm gonna have to get an elastic wig.
I'm sorry, but it's oh, this guy can angle. Ah, beautiful. This head can angle shots. Doesn't mean I'm any better at the game. Still just as bad. If anything, I might be worse now. Well,
I'm sure CinemaSins must have pointed that out at some point.
I don't know if they did actually.
To be honest, I really hate CinemaSins, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to like them. I like some of them, but I hate how like some of them are just like blatant, like, oh, this is terrible because it's terrible. And it's like, but
yeah,
no,
yeah. A lot of it is like even beyond nitpicking. It's
yeah,
kind of a,
and even then, some of their facts are wrong. It's just like, no, you've completely missed the point.
They just breeze past like subtext. Like they don't encounter that. They're like, oh, this is wrong, and you're like, yeah, but it's not. Like if you think about it.
Yes. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing. But I mean, it's a really clever format. I give them immense credit for not being sued by every company they do a video with.
Well, they are really hated in the film community, aren't they?
I mean, I don't know if they are actually. I mean, I think some people really just find it funny because it's obviously like sarcasm. To the like ultimate degree and unnecessary at times, but it is basically like sarcasm.
Well, from what I know, a lot of like people do not like them in the film community. Like a lot of people didn't thought that them and Screen Junkies were the same thing.
Oh really?
And like I know Screen Junkies did a thing with sometimes they get like the directors of things that they've done honest trailers for in. And in one of them, the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I really hated you," and he did like a mean tweet to them, and then he was like, "Yeah, but then I actually realized that you were not the same people as CinemaSins, and that you're actually like have a love for the craft."
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It's actually Screen Junkies is really cool. They did an honest movie trailer with Deadpool, and they actually got Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
Well, they're like they were nominated for something. I can't remember what it was. They're doing pretty well. Screen Junkies are.
Yeah, yeah.
I like watching movie fights.
I do not watch that, so.
Well, yeah, you need like over an hour to devote to it. So.
But yeah, it's there are some we could seriously do a podcast just talking controversial stuff about really popular channels. Like, oh, this channel's shit because how to get on Scarce and Keemstar. CinemaSins is shit because. So you know Tealgamemaster, he has 46,000 subscribers. You know who he is. Like that is literally scarce. Every single video, he has 1 subscriber. You know who he is.
Yeah.
He got into beef with this guy because.
One thing I never realized is that I actually hate everything. I'd never realized that until I realized that I hate everything that I hate everything hates. Right. I was like, oh, I guess I hate everything then.
I see. Have you seen the latest Star Trek?
No.
It's fantastic. Like, truly amazing. It's probably my favourite movie of all of them. It's really good.
In fact, I haven't actually seen any of them. I've seen the first one, but not all the way through.
Huh. Oh, they're very good. Oh, I don't have the claw. Give me that.
The claw.
Wow.
Did you know, that if you are working for Disney and you want to put sparkles on something, they have to be very specific sparkles. They all have to be the same size and the same shape, and they have
Really?
to last for the same amount of time. They're called Disney sparkles,
Huh.
and every Disney sparkle has to fit to those really strict regulations.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Because I know someone who was making a game with Disney and he put sparkles in it, and they were like, "What the hell is this?" They're like, "These are not Disney sparkles." He was like,
Wow.
"Disney sparkles?" And they're like, "Yes, Disney sparkles. They have to be like this."
Here, you peasants. Look, here, we're going to have an hour-long meeting about what Disney sparkles are. Jesus.
And that's just part of why Disney are,
Insane.
well, no, like, as good as they are,
Yeah.
they really care about every
With the
aspect of it.
exception of Disney Infinity. Oh, it's
Yeah, but
so boring
The
and now
sparkles in
very
it, though,
dead.
Teal. The sparkles in it, though.
It's
Let's
a
be real.
dead franchise. I'm not even being mean, it is just the truth.
You haven't got a head, fool.
I know. But it is, it's very true. I never liked it. Like, even the first time I played it, I played the Monsters University level, and I was just like, wow, I'm not doing anything in this.
Why was?
The idea is you basically pull pranks on people around campus, and that's literally it, and it's so dull. Like, it's the most boring thing I've ever played. I'm not even joking.
Have you played the Lego one?
Lego Dimensions, no, because it's fucking expensive. If you want to
Is
get
it?
like it, so when you buy the game, you get like, I don't know, 4 levels, I think. And then if you want any other levels, you have to buy a pack, which is basically 2 Lego figures, which you could probably buy for like £1 each, if not less. And
Yeah.
and like a little like Lego figure that you build. And that's the level. And the level is like half an hour to an hour long.
Man.
And
No,
that,
was
and, that
actually
and
a
those
stupid
figures
question I
and
asked,
those
because
those
if you had played
sorry.
it, I would have seen it on this channel.
Yeah, that's true. And those figures probably cost around £15 each. It's just like, oh no. Like, yeah, I like the fact that it's a game with Adventure Time, which is decent for like an hour. But let's be honest, all Lego games are the same. They just are.
Yeah, I haven't really played that many, to be honest.
Well, you've played them all. Back when they were stuff like Lego Racers, they were unique. Once Lego Star Wars was a thing, they're the same each time, pretty much. Some of them are worse than others, like Lego Indiana Jones. All the levels are like an hour long, and it's so boring.
I loved Lego Star Wars. And
Lego Star Wars is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it was the first, wasn't it? It was the first, like, of, the new generation of Lego games. Like, Lego franchise games.
Yeah, it was. It was good. I preferred the prequel trilogy Star Wars games to the Lego Star Wars games to the original, because the original has the same sort of problem as the Indiana Jones. Levels go on too long. Like, you want your levels to be short and sweet, like 15 minutes longer if you explore.
The prequel one was the first one that came out, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you want the levels to be around 15 minutes, a little bit longer if you explore, maybe even shorter than 15 minutes. But the ones in Lego Indiana Jones, each level could be like an hour, and it's just like, oh my god, end.
Yeah.
Like it, and that's why the third Skylanders failed. Like each level felt way too long. I'm like, oh my god, it's just dragging on, and I'm doing nothing. Please end. And that's just the disappointing truth. Like balancing level length is really hard unless like you make it really exciting the entire way. It's so hard to do. It's such a hard thing to pull off successfully. But some people just...
I don't know if that's the case.
I think it is. I think it's probably quite a difficult task. Because you've got to keep every kind... Well, not every kind of consumer, but many consumers engaged. Like, if it's short levels, short and sweet like Meat Boy, doesn't matter what... It doesn't matter what you throw at them, they're going to love it because it's short and sweet. You can't get angry because you... Well, you can, but... Yeah, okay, no, you can. But, like, you can't get annoyed at the game per se because the game is perfectly controlled and it's designed to be difficult. Like, you put yourself into this. Like, if it's something like a Mario level, then yeah, it can be a little bit longer. But you've got to make it more exciting for a longer amount of time, because you've got to engage them for a couple extra minutes, because they're not going to be dying over and over to keep them playing that level. You've got to
as well, if they do die, they start halfway if they get that far.
Yeah, usually 3D or 2D, and yeah, it's just finding the balance. I think that's quite a difficult thing, because you've got to appease so many people and not bore them all. I don't know, that to me that seems really impressive. As someone who's made a hack, I know that's impressive, because I know some of my levels are absolute
The thing about
bullshit.
your hack though is, who playtested it?
A couple people.
Exactly, like a big company, or not even a big company, an indie company. There'll be like a lot of testing.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
And I don't understand how. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just an opinion thing. Like, the people who playtested it were like, yeah, this is fine, but the majority of people weren't.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. You've got to wonder, like, games like that Adventure Time game you really hated. Like, how did that not become fun at any point?
I'm sure that was just a time thing.
Yeah, no, I'm not blaming the developers or anything.
Most games that aren't fun or are severely disappointing, there's like I guarantee you that the reason is not that these developers wanted to.
Oh no, they didn't want to make a bad game.
Cash in, yeah. No one who makes games wants to make a bad game. And it's always going to be external things. I mean, it's like the whole No Man's Sky thing. Like, it's very clear that they obviously want that game to be what everyone else wanted that game to be.
Mm-hmm.
But reality means that can't always happen.
And I mean, the thing is, it's a very niche game. Like, I still like it for what it is.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I like it for what it is. I knew it was going to be niche. And I still really enjoy it. Like, I don't play it often, but every time I play it, I'm like, this is kind of fun. Like, it's just a nice little place to explore, you know. It is super niche. Is it the best game ever made? God, no. Like, but it's not bad. It is for a very specific audience.
Do you think any game today could be the best game ever made?
I don't see why not.
Out of curiosity, what do you think is the best game ever made? I don't mean your favorite game. I mean, what would you consider to be?
I don't know. I mean, this isn't my opinion. I'm just gonna say I know a lot of people consider Undertale to be like one of the best games of the decade, and I can see why. I do actually really like that game. I think it has a very unique style, and I think it's just a lot of fun. But I know a lot of people. It's a very love it or hate it game. There is literally no in between. It's the same thing with actually Life is Strange. That's a very love it or hate it game. If you love it, that's fantastic. If you don't, you hate it because you think it's all hipster. Like, usually. That's the like consensus I've seen. But again, I think that's, in my opinion, Life is Strange is probably the best like episodic story-driven game, just on the basis that it takes risks that I've never seen done before. And it has a style that actually works really well. Yes, it's out of sync at times. Yes, it is a bit hipstery, but I think it does things that is very brave and quite necessary, I think, to evolve that genre.
Yeah, that's the hard thing to pinpoint, is like why people wouldn't like Life is Strange because of the content rather than the gameplay, because the gameplay is not the main thing in the game. No. And it is like a lot more relevant to the game in comparison to any Telltale games, because the gameplay there is literally pick an option, whereas the gameplay in Life is Strange is, hey, if I rewind time, there's the puzzle solving element, you know, like you rewind time and then you're inside this room that was previously locked.
And the thing with Telltale games is I find with every single one that my actions mean literally nothing. Like,
well, that was the thing of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
The Telltale's Walking Dead game, that made sense because the whole point of it is that you don't get a say in what happens because you are in the apocalypse.
Yeah, I know,
really don't
but
have
like what I
control
mean, what I
over
mean by
what
that
happens.
is like if one character dies in this chapter, like oh my god, I accidentally didn't save that person over this person, then they're gonna die the next chapter, and it means literally nothing. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
but that's the theme, is that
yeah, I know, but it's just
everyone
like,
that's gonna
well, I
die
could have
doesn't
saved
die.
you, and it made no difference. Like with Life is Strange, I know that like things get retconned and stuff, but it's still like, well, like that felt more real. I don't know. It just it's so much more engaging to me. But okay, anyway, back to your question. Best game ever made. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say that because it's really down to genres. Like, what nails a genre is not what nails everyone else. Like,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. That sounded way more sexual than it intended to be. But yeah, like it's really down to I think best game of the genre as opposed to ever of all time. Because I mean, it's I mean, arguably Super Mario Bros. As we established earlier is actually probably one of the most groundbreaking games ever made.
Yeah.
In many more ways, like everyone can say, yeah, it's a fantastic platform, but like just mentioning, like the fact that the enemies get harder, that actually wasn't something I'd thought about, and that is very true.
Yeah.
That did establish a lot of themes, like basically New Game Plus, and it literally
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that's huge.
It's weird to think that that has origins so early on.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's
I think objectively, like what the general consensus for what the best game ever is, I would say people probably would think either Zelda
Ocarina of Time, basically. Yeah, a lot of
or
people.
Zelda Ocarina of Time. Like either the
Oh,
original Zelda
oh, you mean the
or
original?
Ocarina of Time.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I've never heard really people talk about the original being the best, but fair enough.
well, because it was so revolutionary.
Oh yeah, no,
perhaps
don't
even
get me
more
wrong. I think it's
so
fantastic.
than Super Mario Bros.
I will never agree with Ocarina of Time being the best ever made. And
Yeah,
if people love it, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you do. I personally don't see it. I think it's a massively flawed game. I think Majora's Mask is just infinitely better. It's so creative in what it does.
yeah, but I think in that's that's the reason why it wouldn't be considered because it does something so different.
I guess, but why is different bad? Like that's actually that's a
It's
thing.
not.
Like that.
It's just more polarizing.
I guess, but it is though. Like when you think about it, like things that are different do seem to get a more negative stigma.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
why that
it's-
is.
When you're trying something interesting, you can't please everyone. Some
I
people are
guess.
gonna love it, and some people aren't. Whereas if you do something that is, is tried and tested, people are gonna
Yeah,
like
that
it,
is true.
then you pretty much guaranteed.
Go away. Go away. Go away. Yeah, no, that is very true. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Which is
No.
why I think people would say that Ocarina of Time is the best game.
Yeah. Well, it's game over. Damn it.
Yeah, did you say it was your last run like 20 runs ago?
Yes, I did, but we got talking more, and I like talking to you. So,
Yeah.
so some more videos for people.
Hooray!
Hooray! I've got dinner in like 20 minutes.
Oh my god, when did it become that time? Although I'm thinking about it, we started recording at 4, so I don't know why I'm so surprised.
Yeah, we didn't start early or anything. But yeah, no. I mean, what would you say then? What would you say?
Well, I would say like the best game, like objectively, would be Ocarina of Time. I haven't played it though, so that's not what I would consider.
Right. No, I
Best
don't know.
game.
I mean, I don't know. I can't objectively say that because I think it. I don't know. When I've played so many better Zelda games, like
But that's the thing is you've got to think about not just your opinions, but the opinions of the masses.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But that technically wasn't what you asked
And
me.
like,
You asked me what is the best.
I didn't say what's your favorite. I said what is the best.
Yeah, I guess, but I still think that's an open-handed question to your interpretation. Even if it's not your favorite, what is the best in your opinion?
Yeah.
But
Well, I meant like like.
right, I see. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, Ocarina of Time is always going to be a winner. because so many people love it and so many people grew up with it, and it's like that's like one of the most ultimate nostalgia games that can ever exist.
But like the whole reason I kind of brought this up was like we were saying before. I said, you know, do you think any game that comes out now could ever be considered the best game ever made?
Right.
Because what all these other games have is that they're so revolutionary and innovative. Like games that come out now, they can be creative and innovative, but you're always gonna link it to something else. Like this game is pretty unique in like what it does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is like you could compare it to 100 other games because it's a
very true.
Whereas all these old games were like the first to do something, they're always going to be held in higher regards because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for a game to come out now to be considered the best game ever, it would have to do something really that no one had ever thought of, even come close to doing anything like that before.
It's really interesting because I've been playing Persona 5, and I think that is the best turn-based RPG I've ever played.
Really?
It has the best battle system in the world. Like, it really does. It is a flawless battle system. It's so simple to use. It's so elegant. The game works flawlessly. Like, it's interesting when you compare it to something like Persona 4 or 3. It's like a mix of both, but in a way that's very different. Like, you can. In Persona 4 and 3, you can go back and you can grind. In this game, you can't. You can't go back to a dungeon once you've finished it. And even then, there's a finite amount of enemies. So it's like you are at that level, give or take.
Oh, that's interesting.
Give or take, like, a certain point. And you make personas and you work with the hand you're dealt, basically. But it's really cool. Once you... There's a new mode. I say new mode. I think it was originally in Persona 2. Then they got rid of it. It's basically an interrogation. So once you've weakened an enemy, say their weakness is lightning, and you use it on them. If they're weak, you can interrogate them. There's one of 3 options. In round 1, you get one of 3 things. You either get an item to help you get money from them, or you move on to round 2. Same principle. You move on to round 3. Then in round 3, they will either get scared and give you an item. Get angry and attack you, and they get an attack on you because you failed, or you get them as the persona. So the enemy you just fought is now your persona. Right. And it's a really good system because that's how it differentiates every playthrough. What are you going to do? How many... Like, yes, you can technically grind because you can keep going through the dungeon over and over again. I don't know if there's a level cap per se. There might be. And by that I mean, it might stop you getting as much experience after a amount of time. I don't know if it does that. I know Tokyo Mirage Sessions did, so it might do. But that's what differentiates each playthrough. Every playthrough will be different because you will have different personas because you will have done different things with it. And it's such a brilliant system. It feels fantastic. It is. Admittedly, I can't with the story. I don't think it's as in depth as Persona 4. But at the same time, I'm not playing it in English, so it's not. Yeah. It's not the same degree. But even the plot twists, I'm seeing some coming. Admittedly, I'm not gonna say what the plot twist is or why I saw it coming, but I saw it coming before the game was even out. So that was.
Yeah, but do you not think that that's only because it's not your first Persona game? Whereas if you had played other Persona games,
it wasn't. It was because of the way Atlas marketed the game.
Yeah, but did you even see any marketing for Persona 4 before you played it?
No, that is true, I guess. That's very true. It's interesting, because when I saw a mechanic in the game, I was like, oh, this cements my theory. So it's just like, okay, there we go. But it's really good. It's a fantastic game. And yeah, I mean, I haven't finished it. With Persona 4, it makes you think this person's the bad guy, and then plot twist, this person. And there's a real possibility this game's going to do that. But it does have a lot of really good plot twists. I mean, the thing is, because it's not in English, I can't see if the game's making jokes as Persona 3 and 4 do.
Yeah.
But Persona 4, just the scenarios that it creates are so brilliant that I respect that in many ways more, if that makes sense. Like, it just puts you into such weird scenarios that this game doesn't. Because it's being more serious, and I respect that as well. It is being a more serious game, whilst having its lighthearted moments. But it is...
What, 5?
Yeah, 5 is a very serious game.
Yeah.
But it's not afraid to go to dark places. It works well in that regard. As I say, it's like the best elements of 3 and 4. Like, it's some people prefer 3, some people prefer 4, and this basically covers both.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I would love to see a remake of Persona 4 Golden with Persona 5's battle system. That would be amazing. Like, that just basically improving what is one of my favorite games ever made. Just so much more. Because Persona 4 is fantastic, but its battle system is just... It's not bad. It's just, it's not as enhanced as 5 is. It'd be really cool to see. But, I don't know, objectively, I think the best, like action RPG in terms of, like, fighting is Kingdom Hearts. Because it's just, there's so much to it. There's so much depth in that game that people don't give it enough credit for.
Do you mean in the story?
I mean in gameplay. The gameplay has so much depth. There's so much you can do with the magic and the summons and just it's like this. Like, if you watch a speedrun, you can see it right there. There's so much strategy to every boss. Every boss has a different way of fighting it, and every boss has a different way of winning. Like in such a.
How many Final Fantasy games have you played?
But they're not action RPGs in the same way.
Oh yeah, fair point.
I mean, Final Fantasy 15 is going to be the one to test that. Because I mean, it's made by the same team who made Kingdom Hearts 2, which is my favorite Kingdom Hearts game. So, oh hello, MP3 Skype recorder.
Hello.
Thanks for showing up and crashing. But yeah, like that's gonna be like the test, I guess. What are they gonna be able to do with the franchise now that they're going down this path? Because I hope it is amazing. Like, it looks phenomenal. I've played it.
But the thing with Final Fantasy is they never stick to the same thing, so it doesn't matter what they do.
That's true, but Final Fantasy 7 is having the same, or the remaster is having the same battle style as 15. So it's.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, they're not doing it turn-based. So that's the thing. They're going down this route, which is not a bad thing. It's going to upset some people, but it's not a bad thing. It would actually be really cool if they made 7 have both styles. I don't know how they do that, but it would be very cool.
Well, they did something like that in 12, because 12 was so different. The fighting in it was so different.
I crashed the game.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's back. Okay, that was odd.